Today's gym session, we're gonna be going over 3 exercises that are going to help transform your core, your hips, your abs. So we're gonna kick it off with first exercise. It is gonna be an evil wheel or an ab rollout. If you guys are relatively new, an evil wheel is pretty much the same as the ab rollout. We're just gonna change a little bit of positioning. So you will need some equipment for these exercises. I will give you guys some modifications, so stay tuned for that. If you're new here, I would love your support by subscribing and leaving a comment below. All right, so the first one, like I said, ab wheel rollout or evil wheel. I had a client of mine call it hell on wheels. I thought that was kind of clever. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab an ab mat or some sort of cushion, yoga mat for your knees. I personally prefer this. You don't have to have it. Next, you're gonna grab a barbell. I'll give you guys modifications after this. You're just gonna set the ab mat so it's in the middle of the bar. Hands are right at the outside of the knurling and the smooth part. You just wanna make sure it's even. I will recommend you putting your thumb on top of the bar versus underneath, especially if you have just the bar like so. From here, you're gonna have your knees on the ab mat, toes touching the ground. You're gonna roll yourself out, and as you roll yourself out, you wanna maintain a hollow position, meaning you wanna kind of tuck the rib cage in, tuck your pelvis versus being extended out. So think of a little mini crunch. This will apply to the third exercise, which we'll be talking about. All right, so as I roll out, keep my body nice and tight, go as low as I can, then I'm gonna pull myself back up. The focus here is to keep your belly, rib cage, even your chest off the floor as you roll out. Again, all the way out and come back in. It's hard to talk and breathe and hold the position as I roll. Now, you will notice that it's hard, maybe you guys will see from this angle, but if I pivot and turn from the side, my top of my thighs may touch the ground. Nothing's wrong with that. But what I want to try to avoid is this. When I roll out, I completely release, kind of hear the mic flat hit, but then I have to re-engage, tuck, and pull myself back up again. We do not want that. So to modify this movement, if you're not there yet, 2 options. You can either shorten the range of motion in terms of how far out you go, or you can stack plates, maybe a set of 25s on each side to elevate the bar. That's gonna allow you to have the bar off the floor, a little bit elevated. Similar concept doing push-ups, maybe off of a bench or a box versus the floor. It will still be challenging, but it'll make it a little bit easier. So again, one option is shorten the distance, go all the way, don't go all the way out, I'll demonstrate here, or 2, add weight plates to the bar. So halfway range of motion, maybe I extend my legs, I'm fully open in my hip here, and then I stop with my arms here, and then I pull myself back out. The goal is to extend the leg and hip open as much as you can, and then slowly roll the arms. So if you are gonna modify, try to do that versus just extend the arms, then extend the legs, right? That's gonna put you in a different position. You wanna think of opening your hip here, so you're gonna push the bar, extend as low as you can with the arm, or the hip, and then hold the hands and then pull back in. I recommend starting between 8 to 10 reps for this exercise. I'll typically do 10 to 12, so you can eventually progress to 12 reps. That's that first exercise. Second exercise that's gonna help transform your abdominals, your core, and your hips will be the L-sit. Now, if you've done L-sit holds or any type of variation of L-sit, you know it's challenging. It's a great exercise. It's an isometric hold. So you have eccentric, concentric, and isometric, right? Isometric is we're just isolating, holding this position. We are isolating our abs here, but we're also dynamic. We're moving. The third exercise will also be an isometric hold, but these are really, really, really good and highly recommend encouraging you guys to try these out. Now, people say abs are made in the kitchen. Yes, that is very, very true. A lot of your body composition will come to nutrition, so stay tuned and check out some of my previous videos about nutrition. I will be sharing more in the future, but we still want to strengthen and build a good foundation for our core, and that's going to come to some additional movements besides our foundational movements. All right, so points of performance for the L-sit. These are parallettes. You guys can grab some parallettes by grabbing some PVC pipe and making your own, or if you're not that savvy and you just want to order some, you can check out the ones from Rogue Fitness. The link is below. I love their equipment. You are going to be investing in your home gym, which will allow you to have a good, stable place like this. You can release your frustrations, get your body to move, but also your mind to move. Again, a little bit of a tangent, but definitely check out them. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. All right, so a couple guides, elbow to fingertips or elbow to knuckles. That is one way of measuring. Other ways of measuring, hands outside your thighs. You do not want to have your hands touching your thighs because your hands may want to push into your thighs and then you rest on your hands. You do not want that. So you want a little bit of space. I recommend going in the center of the parallette. You're gonna stack your hands. So think of like your knuckles kind of facing down, fingertips underneath. But you want your wrist, elbow, shoulder all in a line or stacked. So I'll show the demonstration of the movement, full movement, and then we'll talk about progressions from there. So L-sit position is going to be like so. You can do this with no shoes if you want. People like that. For those that are gymnasts, take the shoes off, take the weight off. So again, you'll be in this position, the L-sit hold. When you're in this position, I'm gonna talk while not demonstrating. You want, again, shoulders over the wrists. You also want your hips kind of slightly forward versus being tucked behind you. Again, depending how experienced you are, depending on what level you're starting at, this will all be dynamic and change. If you're not very strong, you're just starting out, you might be more like this position. Eventually you wanna get more hips underneath you and toes slightly forward. So if the full range of motion is legs out together, one range of motion or one way to scale is one leg in, doesn't matter, right? One leg in. Second way to scale is both legs in, kind of like a tuck position. Again, you're trying to keep the feet forward in front of you versus tucked behind. But if you're only able to do that, that is an option. Some other ways to scale, if you don't have parallettes, will be 2 benches or 2 boxes where you can kind of hold yourself in or hold yourself up against, right? Another way to scale, if that's really intense, is just hold the position with your toes slightly underneath you and then lift up, tuck, release. Lift up, tuck, release. The goal here is gonna be strengthening the hip flexors as well as abdominals. You're also doing a press into the parallettes here, so you're actively pressing down into the bars. Now, if you don't have this, but maybe you have a set of rings or a matador, which is a stationary dip station, you can also practice an L-sit hold, either legs long underneath you, right, or in that tuck position. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you feel more comfortable. Start off with 10 to 15 seconds. See if you can hold that. Then progress to 20 to 30 seconds, then eventually 45, and eventually minutes. Now, if you're not able to do this with straight legs, progress with the tuck position, then the single leg, build that up, and then eventually both legs. I will note, if your quads are tight and hips are tight, make sure you're aware to stretch them out a little bit beforehand. You will cramp, possibly, depending on how tight you are if you don't exercise. So stretch those out. If you do cramp, just come out of it. All right, so that was the second exercise that you guys can incorporate for your core. If you don't have parallettes, like I said, you can grab them in the link below under Rogue. You also could use rings, 2 sets of benches, any sort of stable surface that's going to allow you to tuck that position. Eventually, you could do them to the floor. People can do them on the ground. I've tried that once or twice. It is challenging. We'll see if I can do it kind of. So palm, also the length of your arms will be a dictating factor. If you have short arms, it's gonna be hard, but I can kind of do it for my knuckles. My knuckles, I can't tuck. All right, so hold position right there. That's L-sit hold from the floor. Obviously my legs are not straight, but it is a position I can hold. All right, third and final exercise. If you guys are still here, thanks for tuning in. Make sure to share this video if you find it helpful. The last one is gonna be a hollow hold. Now, if you guys have been doing my June challenge, you're already part of doing this, that's great. If not, you guys can join in. I'll give some variations, but a hollow hold is going to be where the lower back is pressed into the floor, legs are extended, arms are extended. All right, I'll try to change position a little bit so you can see. So hollow hold position, if I slide my hand underneath my lower back, I should not be able to get my hand through there. I should also not be able to see any daylight. So in this position, I'm pressing my lower back into the floor, lifting my upper body, lifting my legs, and this is the hollow hold position. So think of a hollow body. Talked about the position with the evil wheels, right? We're kind of tucking the rib cage in, engaging the abs. Also another isometric hold. So you're gonna hold that. You can start off with 10 to 15 seconds. Today, or this month's challenge is 30-second hold after a couple of different exercises. But this is a great exercise to incorporate as accessory work, maybe part of your warm-up. Variations include a jackknife, right? One knee in, similar to what we saw in the L-sit. Another modification is to a tuck with the hands out, or tuck with the hands by your thighs, palms facing up. Notice when I'm here, I'm not completely relaxed. I want to do like a little mini crunch, upper rib cage pulled in, and I'm also tucking my pelvis, pressing the lower back into the floor. Those are some modifications. If at any point that's too challenging, you can always grab the knees. Problem when you do this, try to pivot so you guys can see from a different angle. If I do this, I can get to like relaxing my abs and dropping my shoulders and chest and even head. So really emphasize that crunch up. So those are 3 variations of movements that you guys can do to strengthen your abdominals, right? And your hip flexors. Your core is this box around your base and your neck, shoulders, all the way down to your hips. So it's not just abdominals, it's your glutes, hip flexors, spinal erectors, etc. I recommend trying these. If you guys want some variations or need other exercises because you can't do these, please leave a comment below. Please share this with other people if it's helpful and motivating to them. The intention is to give you guys motivation, inspiration, as well as education on my channel. See you guys next time.